The interview you're about to watch with my top student, Ryan Dalton, I promise you is going to motivate you, get you excited. And if you come away from this interview without being just pumped to get into this, then this is probably not for you, okay? This is my top student ever, Ryan Dalton. He joined 4 years ago. Within 2 years, he had scaled his agency to $80,000 a month while holding a full-time job. He's also got kids. He's also got hobbies. He does jujitsu. He runs a men's group. And on top of this, he managed to build a software that we use and that we recommend for all of our students somehow in his free time. In this interview, we talk about his productivity hacks, the advice that he would give somebody that's like stuck or just starting out that has a job, and a million other things. His recommended niches was probably what all you guys want to hear. His recommended niches for 2026 and a whole bunch more, guys. Enjoy this interview. There you go. Guys, welcome to the call. Happy Tuesday. Let me quickly message Ryan. Make sure he has the link. He might not. Actually, he probably doesn't. Let me send it to him really quick. If you guys could, let me know really quickly in the chat if you can hear me. I'm sure you can. Kyle Smith. What's up, Kyle Smith? Good to see you. Callum, what's up, brother? Good to see you as well. All right, let me just hit Ryan quickly with a with the link. All right. Ryan Dalton, my man. Here he goes. Okay, let me just make sure he got it. Oh, just text me. Just send it on Facebook. All right, guys, as soon as Ryan gets on, I want to just jump right into this. This is going to be one of the best interviews that you have seen. Last week was phenomenal with Nick Barth. Shout out to Nick Barth. I don't see him on right now, but if you guys didn't catch that one, that was an incredible interview, not because of me, but because of him and his story. Very relatable, getting his first 2 deals. You guys got to check that one out. This is Ryan. I'll stroke his ego before he gets on. He is the top student to come out of this program. I'll share a little bit more of his story, but he is currently doing 120. He texted me yesterday, I think $125,000 per month. His net is around 80. He's got a full team. And he did all this. He got to $80,000 per month before he ever even quit his job. So anybody that's got a job, which is most of us, there's time. And this guy is Mr. Productivity, Mr. Compartmentalization. And by the way, I didn't even mention this. He's also the creator of Rank and Rent Engine, which we're going to talk about a little bit because we had some exciting updates on that. So it's going to be, every time I get off one of these with Ryan, I get pumped. Like, it's like one of those dudes that you just can't help but get excited to listen to be around. So I'm going to wait just a second for him, but I do want you guys to have your questions queued up and just get ready for a really, really solid interview. I've interviewed him a handful of times, and every single time it's one of the favorites. So anyway, guys, I'll just say a couple things, and then as soon as he hops in, I'll probably just cut myself off, but I've got a lot of different things I want to say. I do want to remind you guys, the year's not over. I said this a couple weeks ago. I would say by mid-December, it gets a little bit weird. Some people, like, you could still get deals 100%, but like, if you're talking about the slowest time of year, it's probably the 15th/20th through the end of the year. 20th through the first of the year is tough. There's still deals to be had. There's still business owners that are out there working. And I said this, I think it was last week, actually. During this time of the year, the business owners that are actually working are the ones that you want to work with. Okay? It's the business owners who don't stop. It's the business owners who don't take a break. It's you think about all of us, right? There's going to be a certain small percentage of our entire group that's actually going to work throughout the year. Those are the people that in the business owner world are still working. And those are the people that you want to work with. And there is Mr. Ryan Dalton himself. All I want to say to just finish up that thought, guys, is finish the year strong, because how you finish the year is how you're going to start the year, and it's going to be indicative of how your year goes. So there is literally in 4 years ago when I launched this program, December was the first month anyone was, had been taught what I was teaching, and we had at least half of our group out of 30 people at that point get deals in December. So there are deals to be had. Ryan Dalton, let me unmute you if it'll let me, or you can unmute yourself. Hold on.
What's up?
What's up, bro?
Hey, big guy.
How you doing, dude? Let me just spotlight you. Hold on.
All right. What's up,
There,
man?
there he is, dude. Been a minute, bro.
I know. I was just looking at the last time in my messages that you sent me a Zoom invite, and it
And it
was
was for this, right?
this was June of this year.
Well, every 5, 6 months, dude. That's what it is.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to be
Dude,
back with the
I was in Memphis. So by the way, Ryan lives in Memphis. I was in Memphis for a second because I had to fly into there just because of flights were terrible into Birmingham to my
yeah.
football game. And yeah, dude, crazy place, dude.
Did you drive down to Alabama?
Yeah, quite a drive, dude. But
Yeah.
our other option was we'd had to leave Sunday morning at like 6 a.m. And I was like, I would have to get up at like 2 a.m. I was like, no, not doing it. So anyway, but dude, yeah, I kind of gave everyone a little bit of an update on your current agency numbers. But apart from that, dude, how's the jujitsu going, dude? I've been seeing you just rolling some dudes.
Good, man. It's what makes me happy. I just
Yeah.
something about strangling people before the sun comes up is just good for me. So.
Yeah, do you do that like with your group of guys, or did you just go and join a gym and met them through that?
I've done jujitsu since I was 16. So I met a lot of lifelong friends through jujitsu, just training. I really got out of it for done it off and on since I was 16. I'm 38 now. So there's a lot of times that I was doing other stuff or whatever, but I always came back to jujitsu and been doing it like really on the last 4 years. And it's something like my kids are into now. And so they love it. And um, it's a fun thing to share with them.
That's cool, man. So you started doing jujitsu before everyone was doing it, before it was cool, right?
Dude, I started doing jujitsu and no one knew what it was. I didn't even know what it was. It wasn't like I was like I'm gonna find this niche martial art. It was like offered at a church near me. And I just thought it sounded cool. I was like, what's jujitsu? And then I get there and I watch, my coach at the time like put a triangle choke on a guy, and I was like, that's rad. He just choked that dude with his legs
That's
and
so
then got
cool.
hooked on it from there.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
So I know you've probably shared this part of your story 1,000 times, but we got a lot of new faces, and we're gonna push this out to the entire group. Tell everyone what you did prior to this, because it's first of all, it's not like you know everyone has a job. I feel like when they start this, but there's different levels of involvement in your job, and your job wasn't really a job that you could just show up and scan gym passes and do your homework or whatever. So tell everyone what you were doing prior to starting this business.
Yeah, when I started lead generation, I was working for a tech company. My background is in law. I was working in this tech company in a position that was really time intensive. I had to manage $100 million contracts finances. And there was a lot of work that went into that, and then managing, people and all kinds of stuff. And so I got into this because I didn't want to do that forever, and it was pretty time intensive. There were a lot of like early mornings and late nights to learn the craft of lead generation. But it's been the best thing that I've ever done for my family and my career.
So to put a little bit of a timeline on it, you started 2022,
Yeah.
like around, I think it was around like March, April, if I'm not mistaken, ish. And then within 3 years, you were doing around 80. Am I way off, or is that pretty accurate?
I got to 80. I don't know the I got to 80 sometime last year. 24. Like I'm like pulling up my numbers now to tell you like when I hit
Yeah.
80. My
Ryan's the
first
guy that's organized enough that can do that. I would have no idea. I'd have to just guess.
my first month above or at 80 was June of 2024.
Okay. So that was two years and some change, basically.
Yeah, I had an $83,000 month in June of 2024, and that was the first time I broke 80.
And at this point, you still got the job, very much still got the job because I don't think you quit it until another year after that, right?
I didn't quit until December.
Of
Yeah,
last year, like a year ago.
of this last December.
Dude, that's crazy. I still don't understand how that worked. I mean, dude, that's insane. So let's talk about that because that's kind of the theme. I told everyone again a little bit about you. On top of all of this, guys, he built Rank and Rent Engine, which is the software that every single one of you that I can see, I think every single one of you that I can see, I would have recommended it to you because I no longer use SEMrush. I know in the training that you went through right now, I told you the new training is going to have it, but the training you went through right now says or shows us using that, so it can be a little confusing. But he built that software on top of that. So how do you have that job? You get to what were you at when you quit your job a year ago? You were over 100, right?
86 when I quit my job.
86. Okay, you get to 86, literally on the $1 million run rate, or right there. No, he was just over it because 83.3. So you're at the over $1 million a month run rate. You also built Rank and Rent Engine software, managed that build. So how do you do it? Because no one's got time, right? But you have, and by the way, you also have kids. You also have a dog. You also do jujitsu. You also have a wife. You also run a men's group in the morning. So how in the hell, Mr. Ryan Dalton, do you do it all?
I just want it real bad, man. I mean, I feel like um you can find time for the things that you really want. Like you ever have that friend that's like talking about working out or talking about like hanging out or whatever. It's like, man, I don't have time. I don't have time. I think that we all have the same 24 hours in the day, and the things that we really, really want, we prioritize. I'm kind of like not interested in things that distract um, many people. I don't watch Netflix. Like I don't really like watch TV or movies or like none of that stuff interests me. And so like it didn't feel like work to me, I guess. Like it felt like not play. Play is too generous of a word, but it felt like exciting. Like
Yeah,
all of that stuff felt exciting to me. So like I wanted to do it, like I
yeah,
wanted to build an agency. Like it belongs to me. Like no one can take it from me.
yeah,
Like it's no longer up to anybody else whether the lights in this house stay on, right? And so that way that it gave me energy and it made me full of like this optimism about life was fuel for me. And so the time that I put into it didn't feel like I was sacrificing anything. It felt like I was earning something. And so it motivated me to build new things that haven't existed before or to create something for me that it belongs to me and no one can take from me.
What things don't, this is a question I have. What things don't you do? You just mentioned a couple, but I think that's always the more important question is like it is the things that you do, but what are the things you don't do? So you don't do Netflix, you don't do TV. Like what are some of the other common things that people probably spend a lot of time doing that you just refuse to do?
Yeah, I don't want to like I'm careful to like not like dunk on people, like there's nothing wrong. I've got my own like stuff that, is
No, I know, but I'm just curious because it's
yeah,
probably stuff that I do that I'm like, I gotta get rid of this stuff.
but I just like don't look my down my nose at that stuff. It's just like it doesn't interest me. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got my own stuff that distracts me or that can pull me away or well, I'm human, right? It just doesn't interest me. Like I've got my wife and I watched a show on Netflix. Like we watched The Diplomat, right? It was a super good show.
That sounds exactly what I would expect you to watch, dude.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
looks interesting. I saw the trailer. I almost got sucked in on that too, by the way.
yeah. Huge crush on Kerry Russell. She's a great actress. But
I love that.
it was a great show. So I like watch Netflix and stuff, but I don't make these things habits. And so I guess what I'm getting into is like the habits that I have are around like creating a future that I want. And so anything that doesn't fall into like creating the future that I want, I can't let become a habit. And so
Yeah.
I've got things that I'll do, like I'll watch a Netflix show every now and then, or like we'll like do whatever it is. But like when that starts to become a habit, I have to like suppress that, right?
Okay.
Because I have a lazy person in me that like wants to sit and eat Twinkies and watch Netflix. Like that guy's in there, and if that becomes my habits, I'm toast. I'm done for. And so I just have to be real careful about those.
So no one's gonna get offended, and if you do, you can jump off the call. I want to know, what are those habits that you try to suppress, like that you feel like aren't. And I think that's the best. That's the best question to ask. Is, does this habit or does this thing get me closer or further away from my goal? Right. And if it gets you further away, it doesn't get you closer, then you just cut it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very hard to do, very easy. It's a very easy framework, but it's very hard to do. But yeah, I guess I'm just curious, like on just normal people stuff, like how do you manage with not being on social media? How, like, obviously, I'm sure that you do get on, but not often. Like, can you speak on that a little bit? Just
Yeah, I mean, it's anything that's like a time suck that you're not going to get anything back out of, or that someone else is making money off of my attention, right? Like, when you look at it like that, like someone else is going to make money from my attention, and I'm not making money from my attention, and that makes me feel weird, right? Like social media, other people are making money from my attention, Netflix or whatever, like someone
true,
else
true.
somewhere else. One of my favorite stories that stuck with me forever. I don't know where I got it. Maybe you've told it to me. I don't know where I got it, but it stuck with me. Is the founder of Lamborghini was asked whether or not to do television ads. Have you heard this?
I've heard this, but I wasn't me that told you.
Yeah, he's like, why don't you do TV ads? And he was like, because the people that buy our cars aren't watching television.
Yep.
And it stuck with me. I was like, oh man, like what else falls in that category? And so to answer your question, like, anything that, is attention suck, that there's not like something that I get back out of it, it
Yeah.
just makes me feel gross. So, television, social media, I still have these things. I still, Instagram or whatever. Um, but I really try to like give the best hours of my day and the best time of my attention into the things that are going to create assets for me.
And guys, it should be one of the goals of 2026 to make it on Ryan Dalton's close friends list on Instagram, because you will be very entertained.
Yeah, that's where you get the crazy stuff.
That's the good stuff right there. No. Okay, so how do you structure your day? By the way, guys, I want you, if you have questions, I do want to get into some other like particulars, but if you have questions, drop them in. I'm just gonna ask some of the questions that I think are gonna be relevant to all of us. So how do you sorry, not now. How did you structure your day when you first started? Because you still had all those responsibilities and you had the wife and the kids. Like, can you tell me what one of those days looked like back in the beginning?
Yeah, so I structured my day around putting my mental energy and allocating those best hours of my mental cognitive effort into the things that I'm learning. And so my job, I didn't need to learn a lot of new things. I knew a lot of how to do it. I had to keep things running, and things were working pretty well. And so it didn't require like significant cognitive load. Learning a craft, a new skill, and getting good at it requires like cognitive effort. My best hours for that were in the morning. Everyone's different. Some people it's at night, some people it's, whenever. But for me, it's the morning. And so I would wake up and do my best to get out of bed before my alarm went off again, and then spend my first hour drinking caffeine, which has been proven to have increased cognitive performance, and then work out. But during that hour, I would generally I would devote towards learning local lead generation.
During the workout?
No, sorry, before the workout.
Oh, okay, okay.
That
So
hour.
before that's before you work out, you want to get that done. I think, and would you specifically do that so that you kind of like rewarded yourself with the workout once you did that task, or was there a reason that you didn't just go straight into the workout?
Because that hour is uninterrupted. No one's calling me,
Got
no
it.
one's bothering me. I'm left completely alone. It's just me, caffeine, and what my full undistracted attention with like rising energy level.
I love that.
That's the best time for me to work. That's still the best time. I still have the best. That hour is golden. It's like when I accomplish like the hardest thing. right? Because I've got all these things I have to do and I have like endless tasks as I'm building my agency. But like that hardest thing, that one that I'm like, I look at that one, I'm like, man, I don't want to do that one. I had one this morning. I'm trying to track a new KPI for my agency, right? I want to know every month this number for this thing that I'm doing. And I have to put together some like stuff on the back end to make sure that I can get that. And I gotta like really think through it. And that hours when the night before, like I'm going to accomplish that before I go work out,
Makes sense.
for example.
So that's what time is that usually? Like five? Is that your 5 to 6, or your 4 to 5, or your 6 to 7? What time's that hour
Uh,
usually?
it's either 4:30 to 5:30 or 5 to 6, depending on the day.
So there's that hour. Then you go to the gym right after that for an hour, I
Yeah.
assume. And then what does the rest of the day look like?
So when I had my job, it's a bit different than now, but when I had
Yeah.
my job, it was eating something, saying hey to the kids and the wife, and then like starting my day, starting work, right? And when I was working my job at the time, it was anytime that I was not putting my focus into my job and I had discretionary time, I was like working through a list of tasks to move the needle. It was like shifting gears really, where I was context switching between my job and my agency. And that context switching was tiring, yeah, but like you've talked about it in your lives. It's satisfying to be that kind of exhaustion, that type of exhaustion at the end of the day. And then I would just watch it grow and just long enough doing that consistently.
So did you have a list of you would just is it the night before you'd have a list of like, hey, these are the things I need to knock out to move the needle, and as soon as I have some discretionary time that I'm not have to be fully focused on my 9 to 5, then I'm gonna jump in and just start knocking these things out?
Yeah, I keep those lists. Anytime that there's something that needs to be accomplished, it gets added to a list, and that's why we built that into Rare. When we built that into the very first part of Rare, when you come in, you've got like a Monday style or Trello style board.
Let's let's show that. Can I share your screen because
Yeah,
I want to see how you set up your hold on. I want to see how Ryan sets up his rank and run engine because by the way, part of this story I'm sure we're going to get into here in a second is the reason he was able to scale is tools and automation and this is why he actually built rank and run engine and so let's show me this and let's get into that just a little bit. So how do you use it as as a to-do list
yeah.
basically?
So this is my demo account. My live one, I'm always testing in it, and so we're always trying to fix something or update something or improve it. So I have this one as my demo account. We built this task tracker deliberately for this
Okay.
reason. Um, I really felt that the success of my agency depended a lot on organization, and there wasn't a need to do this. Like, you don't need to have a Trello account or a Monday.com or whatever, like any of these organizational tools are. It's not complicated. You know what you're working on, what you need to do, what's completed, and then what's one that's going to take a while to get that one, right? I got, this example one here is optimized GDP. But I live and die by this. I live and die by it. Not everyone works that way, but I live and die by what how I've taken my vision for where I want to go and broken it down into pieces. And then like, here's what I have to do today. And all I got to do, that's all I got to do is this today. That's it. If I get this done, it's a good day for me. And you do those enough days in a row, and you look back and you're like, oh, got something like valuable here, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, is it every day you're looking at? You go into this, you drop in, 3 to 4 to 5 to dos, and then you work through them, and then the next day you're like, okay, this is what we got done, and then you add another 3 to 4. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, sometimes it is that like linear, and sometimes it's I have clients that need things, I have VAs that need things. It just like as it comes up, it gets added in here, and you get this little like dopamine hit of like, oh, I move it over to complete,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It, it fills
Yeah.
you, you just feel good for a second, and then you go to the next one. And so I don't know if it's like, my dopamine addiction, just like trying to move these things into the completed column, but it feels good.
Yeah. Dude, I love this. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna jump back into rank and engine. You can go ahead and unshare for a second. So when you were building, and I'll kind of share how I viewed it, and then you can tell me what I'm missing here. But Ryan basically he's a problem solver, and so he at work used to use some tools with his other projects, and so he started kind of like cobbling together some free tools to make a solution to managing all of his clients, all of his leads, all of his websites, etc. And that was kind of like the brainchild of Rank and Run Engine. And it was literally how many tools did you have scabbed together? And by the way, it sounds worse than it was. It was smooth. It was just a pain to set up relatively for like those of us that aren't technically, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
astute.
it wasn't like it wasn't for everybody. Rare now is for everybody,
Well,
but
you had to set mine up. Let's just say it like that. Ryan had to set mine up for me.
yeah, once you had it humming along, it's like, man, it's phenomenal. But it did require a bit of like investment up front and time. But yeah, we took some no code tools, Airtable, Twilio, Make. Uh, Putting some tools together that allowed connection between like the essential components needed for an agency, but it was still really limited. Like you couldn't do keyword research and backlink stuff and looking at your
Right.
site analysis, and you still had to use a bunch of other tools for that stuff. And I think I mostly like got it like personally annoyed by this. Like this was a source of like personal consternation that like I thought this is no one has done this. Like, why do I not have this tool? Like, I deserve this tool. And so
Right.
I started this like process of thinking through, like, all right, well, how hard is it really? Like, these are all tools that I'm paying this subscription and I need this much of this tool that's doing this much, and then the other 80% of it is not being used. And so I was like losing money on some tools that I didn't need. I needed a part of it, and then I was like always switching between browsers. Like this, we need like a command and control in one place for a lead generation agency, and then that's when we decided to build Rare.
So what happened? Yeah, he built it for himself, and then this is what happens whenever you have success. People start asking you, "Hey, how are you scaling? How are you doing this? How are you doing that? How are you freaking getting to 80,000 a month with a job, a big boy job that's actually requiring your time?" And then Ryan begins to kind of like, "Oh, I'm doing this." Shares it with a few friends, shares it with a few more, and I think so. He ended up sharing it. How many people ended up setting up on that like original? Just 1.0 of Rank and Run Engine.
Yeah, we had a few hundred people that
Just
got,
complete organically word of mouth, dude. Just
yeah,
sharing it. And
yeah,
so, yeah.
they loved it. And because I think that like one of the really frustrating parts initially about building an agency is like we all are dealing with the scarcity issue. We all have time scarcity. Everyone does. And so if you're building your agency, the fun part is closing deals and getting leads and finishing your sites and getting all of those little hits of progress that you're feeling. And if you are having to like hunt down tools, set up subscriptions, you're trying to like manage a whole bunch of different things that you're having to learn, like how does this thing work? That's not the fun part, and it slows down the actual part of the agency building that's like actually going to move the needle. And so it creates like friction in your agency that is not just like not needed. Like we're able to reduce that significantly.
I 1,000% agree. And I remember using not being near as smart. I had like Google Sheets. I had a subscription to like all these freaking that one, of course, not a subscription. But anyway, um, the I just want to let you guys know that the reason he ended up building this is because there was so much demand, and it was like these are some of our bigger hitters, like Mike V. I know he used it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Was it? Is Pierre was Pierre on it? Pierre Goddard. I don't know
I don't
if you
know.
remember him,
Yeah.
but anyway, so a lot of these guys did it, so it just made sense, and he went and built it. I want to know, I want you to tell everyone this little productivity hack that you do with the timer. Because,
Yeah.
dude, it's been super. I've been using it ever since you was probably like 3 interviews ago. Let's talk about that, and then we'll transition a little bit. But yeah, can you share that? Because I think it's huge. It's simple, but it works.
Yeah. I realized that I was trying to do these like marathon attention sessions where like everyone's like grind culture, baby, like hustle, like grind, and then you do that, and then you're like, man, I'm tired. Like this is difficult to do, and so I realized that the better way to do this is I'm going to set a 5 minute timer at first. Right, start small, set a 5 minute timer, hit go. In the next 5 minutes, nothing gets my attention. Nothing. Not my phone, social media, nothing gets my attention but the problem I'm trying to solve. That 5 minutes becomes 10, becomes 15, becomes 30, where I'm going to press the button, and for 30 minutes, nothing else is going to enter into my headspace except for what I assess is going to be the most essential pieces to move my business forward. And it's something that over time you don't need the timer anymore for me anyway, where I'm able to go into these rhythms now where it's just part of my habits to like, okay, I'm going to accomplish things in that time, and then you've earned something like good, right? Because I feel bad if like I work and I work and I work and then I am not actually making any progress, and then I go like do something to get away from my computer, and then I'm like feeling bad because I'm away from my computer and I'm like I haven't done anything. But if I earn it, 30 minutes, that's it, laser focused. And I set my phone down, regardless of what happened in that 3 minutes. I solved it, or if I didn't, I gave full on best effort. Can step away, come back, and repeat the process. So little things like that were meaningful for me.
Yeah, I started doing that because um, I think I heard somewhere that like 90 minute blocks when you can get into deep work. So I took what you told me with that and I try to create like these 60 to 90 minute blocks, but then I'll break it up and I'll do like 30 minutes, 5 minute break, 30 minutes, 5 minute break, 30 minutes, and then like a 15-minute break. So much easier because it's easy when you have 30 minutes. You're like, I can do anything for 30 minutes. But when you have a 90-minute break or block, it can be very overwhelming to just, get in. So anyway, that helped me a ton. I've been using that ever since, dude. So thanks for
Yeah,
that nugget, bro. Thanks for that
it's
nugget.
not mine. I got it. I mean, someone taught it to me too. Like I'm just like not like original thing for
I'm
me,
giving you
but
credit for it.
I
So
don't. I don't deserve the credit. Someone else taught it to me, and
I
it's
love
something
it.
about like just human. The brain, it just needs relief from working hard like a muscle, right? And so you gotta give it what it not wants, but I can't just let it run wild either.
What advice do you give somebody who is still in a job, trying to build this, and just feels like they're not making any progress? Like what would you, if you were just sitting down having a chat with a friend and they're in it, what advice? They're like, dude, I'm doing this, but I'm just not making any progress. I can't seem to find enough time. What would you tell them?
I've done a lot of like consulting for people in agencies that have come to me and said, "Hey, like I'm stuck," and I talk to them and have this conversation and figure out why they're stuck. And I find that they usually are skipping steps. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to do the live transfer. I just give them the leads," or "Oh, I don't want to, set up my own ads. I pay someone else to do it," or whatever their reason is. There's a steps getting skipped. This is the most common by far reason I feel people get stuck. I have felt the seduction of skipping steps before, the lure of this. And things that Nick taught originally, I was like, I remember when I came into the course, I was like, do I need to live transfer these? Like, I'll just give these guys these leads, and nope, gotta live transfer the leads, right? And so there are things that I still feel like the inclination, the proclivity to skip steps. And that's fatal to an agency and it's fatal to progress, right? These things are time tested. They have worked for people to become personal friends that I met in this course and the local lead generation community. And there are people that don't skip steps. And so I would say if you're stuck, go look at the training again and be really honest with yourself and see what steps are you skipping. If the answer is none, it's sort of a different analysis, but this is the most common reason I see people get stuck.
Yeah. I you know where I stand on this.
Yeah.
It's funny because I talk to students every day, and people that are stuck or people that are not, they haven't gotten a deal. They got deals and they stopped getting deals. Now they're hung up, and it always comes back to like whenever there's a process that works, you just got to follow it. But it's always tempting to just start skipping steps. And there's a reason all these steps are there, even if they sound mundane. So, um, yeah. And the other thing too, I hear this is another question, and I want to hear what your response is, Ryan. Is I have people, maybe they haven't started yet, or maybe they just started, and they say, how much time is required to put into this business when you first start to actually get some progress going? And I have my answer. I'm curious what you would say to that. If somebody asked you that's thinking about getting in this business model or just started, how much time do I have to set aside per day or per week to be able to make progress? What would you, how would you answer that?
Um, I can't give like a this number of hours. It's a little bit different for everybody. What I can say is for businesses that have as high of an upside as this one does, for as low of a startup cost as it has to do this compared to pick any other business model, right? Like brick and mortar stores, whatever. This is the most accessible for me. I see this most accessible because you can watch it on your computer and learn how to build it. And regardless of if it takes you maybe 5 hours a week or 15 hours a week or whatever it is, it's at first to get started. It is time that um, as you get better at it, you don't have to put as much in. Meaning, like you build your first site, you're gonna have to learn how to build your first site, right? You've never done it before. All right, you're taught how to do that. You've never done it before. You just replicate it after that. And so it is something that maybe you feel like, okay, you're learning how to build, you're learning like all these skills, like all these things, and it feels like a lot. But as you like get good at these, you can copy your next ads campaign, you can copy your next site. Like there's sort of a front loading of some learning some of these things. And those can, I don't know, you can learn those in a few hours a day. Like it's not anything that is incredibly consuming, especially for what like the upsides are in this industry. Like I've got multiple friends that make over $1 million a year doing lead generation, and they got started the same way that anybody else in this course did, just learning a little bit at a time every day.
Yeah. And it's also what you do with that time, right? Like that you can be busy. I know people that have no job and they quit their job to do this, and they don't make any progress because they're doing the wrong stuff. They're pushing papers, and you gotta move past watching videos to actually taking action. And so
100%, dude.
I feel like sometimes too, when you have less time, you make more progress because you have to. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I don't know. It's that when I first started, I was knocking doors and I was doing stuff at night, and I was very focused, and then I ended up getting two deals before I quit my job, and I had no mental bandwidth, but I somehow pulled it off. So, um,
Yeah, you were
okay.
knocking doors at first, right? While you were doing this.
Yeah, I was a door knocker, baby. That I am, I got some serious tech background with that, dude.
So you couldn't sit in front of a computer. You had to like get off the streets and then
Yeah,
fire up a
it was
computer.
I would knock all day because I'd have my meetings, my gym, my, whatever in the morning with the kids. Or I only had no, yeah, I had two kids at that, but with the kids. Then at night, dude, it was like shower, eat, and then 10 to 12 in front of my computer on the living room floor of my rented apartment in Huntsville, Alabama. And yeah,
Yeah,
it was wild. But I just like you said, I was so desperate to get out of door knocking, I would have done anything. And the thought that I was building something that I owned,
man.
it didn't matter because I was like, I'm putting in this work, but I'm going to get paid again and again and again. And meanwhile, I was spending my entire day making somebody else rich. So
Yeah,
I
dude.
think some people lack context. I have a million other questions, but I do want to. I saw that Corey has a question. I want to ask one last question. Then I want to. Well, let's do this first before everyone asks their questions. I want to see from a personal. I personally want to see this, and I'm sure everybody else does. Is like, will you share your screen and just show me how you utilize Rank and Run Engine? Obviously, you have the task tracker. Obviously, I do all my due diligence there. I do. I just want to know how. I know this isn't your actual main account,
Um,
but can you just show us and walk us through how you utilize this? Because I know, guys, this isn't a big part of how Ryan's been able to scale this. Is this thing takes the place and saves him a ton of hours.
Yeah,
So
I
yes,
know we've got
let's
just a little bit of time left, so I'm going to be really succinct about this. Basically, from the top, you start with a dashboard that tells you like the latest progress that you're making. So you can log in. Are you making money? Are you getting sites up? Are you getting call volume? Like you can see in numbers, metric-driven success, right? So we should walk through the platform, I guess. Task tracker, we've covered this one. Important. It can't be
I love
overstated how
this.
important it is to have
Yes.
a clear vision for what you need to do. Due diligence, this is my favorite. I love this one because you should in here, and then it's going to spit out one of these records, right? Where in just a split second, it gives you the latest data for your competitors, your cost per click, search volume, all the things that you need to run ads. Um, Looks at your market, all it pulls it directly from Google. So due diligence goes from taking a
Seconds.
half
This
hour
is
to
yeah.
literally,
This is my
you know,
favorite. This one
90
saved me
seconds. Yeah.
hundreds of hours already.
Yeah, there's no going back after you have this. Like people that have used this, right, dude, there's no going back.
No,
Spreadsheets for Google.
100%. Keep going. Love it.
Your site portfolio, you got to be managed. You got to manage your site portfolio. These are your assets. This is like where you can see your empire growing, right? And so you track all these in here. This is just like sample data. Um, and you just put in all this information to make sure that you're adding in all of your websites in a organized way as you grow your empire. Prospect pipeline. Uh, you put all your prospects in here, and for leads, it connects to your site portfolio, and you can see every single lead that's come in. You put notes on them, see which site you're trying to hit with it, what the rate that you want to get out of that for your flat fee or whatever your approach is. I'm a flat fee guy. Let's talk.
Yeah, only flat fee, baby.
Yeah. Your client list, obviously this is CRM. We deleted this website, I guess, but you can see that Bob Smith was, he was Lexington Masonry. Masonry is a great niche, by the way. And then you got to keep up with all these leads as they come in. They're assigned to each site so that you can know how close you are to getting that deal, right? Have you sent 3, 4, 5? Is it time to go in for the kill? Call tracker. So this is, you can get your phone numbers in here. They're part of your subscription. So phone numbers are native to the platform. You have numbers that are tracking numbers. And the cool thing about this is I would not do this business model without the SMS capability, me personally. Everyone's a little bit different. I would not fool with it at all coming from, because they're getting 100 calls a day, and every lead that comes in here, they get a text message notification that says you have a new lead from your site name, and it shows the caller's phone number. And that has kept my business owners so happy because they can scroll through their text messages and they can see, oh, I've gotten 100 calls from.
So just to throw something in, that this is when, if any of you guys have had the experience where the business owner's like, I just don't know if I'm getting enough leads, and you're looking at your dashboard and going, you're getting a ton of leads. Imagine every single time you're just getting a text, they're getting a single text, and you're like, well, just scroll up and see. There's no denying that. That's almost replaces any kind of reporting or checking in with clients just with that one little thing. And huge retention thing right there. So just, yeah.
Huge retention. I cannot overstate how critical that has been for me. So, site analyzer, you can put in my legions, Potterville, on treats, and it's going to pull up all of the site metrics that you have to pay, SEMrush or Mangles or whatever for. All the things that you need to see, which everything from anchor text, referring domains, backlink profiles, your top metrics for trust, site flow, citation flow, all that stuff.
Beautiful.
So there's no reason to pay $150 a month for something that does that because it's right here. uh, backlink analyzer. So this is like how to replicate uh, backlinks using the copycat method, right? So
Yep.
you can see where they get their backlinks from. All right, so I just put in one of my lead. You can put in like, a competitor website, and then just do the copycat method, which Nick teaches in his training. Keyword planner. This is pulled right from Google, the contractor. We've got US, Canada. Let's see. Let's just do Memphis. And it's going to pull in your all your data right here, right? For how many searches you're getting. It usually pulls in the top of page bid coming directly from Google. It can't get more accurate than this. This is what Google is saying that it's getting for these keywords and all its related keywords. And then, of course, can't close deals without the trusty lead value calculator. Yeah. So we put the lead value calculator right there in here. So if you're familiar with the lead value calculator, the thing about this is that everyone's using all these different websites that people have built for it, and then they like go down, and you're trying to like set up a call. You're like, where is this?
And by the way, if you guys are sending screencasts without showing the lead value calculator, you're crazy. This is how you justify. It's how you're justifying your price. So
skipping a step, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's part of the step. Okay, that's perfect, man. Appreciate that. And again, guys, this is the version 2.0 to you've done a ton of updates on this thing, but this is the new improved version of what you use to scale your agency in 2 years and 4 months to 83,000. I think you said 80,000 a month while having a job, which is unbelievable. Okay. Just for the audience here, because I've been hogging all the questions. By the way, guys, if you have joined recently and you or not, and you haven't redeemed this, we do have a free month code if you guys want it. So shoot me a message on Facebook, and I can send that to you if you guys want the free month code for Rank and Rent Engine. Okay. So let's start off really quick. Let's blow through some of these questions. Let me
do rapid fire.
Yeah, let's do them. Let's do them rapid fire. Here we go. Okay, this one I have to read it because it's funny. What do all the males do with their kids when they're working a full time and starting this on the side? Is this happening because of a partner, or are you just chucking old chicken nuggets, popsicles, and candy at them while you work? That's funny.
Yeah, I got a great wife that is an amazing mother to the kids, and she's a great partner. I mean, I would say though that if I didn't have her for some reason and I was still working at a job, I would feel like actually more urgency. I would feel more pressure and more urgency to build something that I like I have today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you'd be tripling down, quadrupling down. Netflix, whatever even resembles Netflix would be gone.
Gone. Yeah.
Hey, this is a good question from Corey. By the way, shout out to Corey. He and his wife have scaled up to $30,000 a month. Yeah, and he's in real estate full time. She's an optometrist. So these guys are also very busy. He says
they're Wear users too. There's
what's that?
Power users, man.
Are they? Okay, hell yeah. Okay. There we go. I love that. Okay, yeah. Corey says, ever hit burnout or feel yourself getting there? Cindy and I have been in overdrive for the last while, and I'm starting to feel it a bit. All the campaigns and live transfers can sometimes weigh on you. Is that a heads up to maybe start delegating?
Bro, yes. You have to delegate that yesterday. Dude, go to onlineshop.ph, find you a setter, train your setter, and you never have to answer a call again, man. You have your setter. I've got a setter that live transfers all my calls. She's actually on maternity leave this month, so I've been having to live transfer them again. I'm like, this is really energizing, but it's also a lot of work. And so if you're at 30K a month, man, you got to get you a setter.
Yeah. And when I was scaling up, I did the same thing, Corey. I didn't know you could get a setter from the Philippines. So I was like, whatever. Yeah. And so I hit that burnout point at one point. So definitely anything that you're doing, make sure that you're systematizing it, you're automating it if you can, and then you're delegating it. Create an SOP, make a video and a training, add it to your company handbook, all referencing back to the E-Myth, and start building a team. You have to. So,
Absolutely.
and the thing is, Corey, you and Cindy can probably muscle your way to 40, 50, but you're gonna crack. So you need to get doing that right now. Even if you got to backpedal a little bit, you got to take a step back, go to 25 or 22 to build that. It's going to allow you to get to the 80, 100, but you definitely have to do that or you're gonna die.
My setter is better at it than I ever was
That's
because she does
crazy.
it full time.
That's crazy. And she's based in the Philippines.
Yeah, she was. She moved to the US, but yeah, like I got her in the Philippines
That's
and
crazy.
she's phenomenal at it.
Love that, dude. We could have a whole conversation on that stuff, but let's keep going. Okay, Ray says I notice I close in waves, but I have trouble keeping momentum, especially after a cancellation where I slow down instead of replacing them right away. With the holidays coming up and things naturally slowing down, what would you recommend someone's focus on to stay consistent and avoid those dips?
I would say that everything is about creating asset or lead generating assets. Everything in this business model. The more lead generating assets you have, the more you are going to be able to close. And so as you're looking at, maybe like December, it's a little bit slower. How do you make sure you have the inventory going into the spring to really rip?
Yep, I like that. And another way to say that is make sure that if you don't have, a deal in the pipe or whatever, at least make sure you're creating assets that are getting, worked up in the search engines. Kyle says, what tools does this replace?
Replaces Trello, SEMrush, Twilio, or whatever your call tracking platform is, CallRail or whatever. Uh, Replaces whatever you like main goals, whatever you use for backlink, whatever you use for keyword research, whatever you use for site profiling, and whatever your CRM is. So however many tools that is.
Literally right now, our agency, we use this and our cell phone. That's it. We
That's
we
the goal.
just yeah, that's I mean, for when this originally dropped and we didn't have the keyword planner section, we would use like Google Keyword Planner that was free, but now it's also included, so we literally only use this.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Jen says, is call tracker a replacement for call rail? And also, what is the difference between lead tracker and your client list?
Yeah, totally. So it is a replacement for CallRail. You don't need CallRail. So for example, like if you come in at the Ignition subscription, it's $97 a month. It includes your first 5 phone numbers for free, right? Your tracking numbers are available in the platform. And then the second question is the difference between
Lead, lead
lead tracker.
tracker and client list.
Yeah, so lead tracker is the individual lead that comes in. Someone calls and they say, "Hey, I want a new concrete driveway." Right? You record all of their information there, assign it to the website. Client list is this is who you've closed as a client, right? So there's the lead comes in, it goes to the prospect. The prospect receives the lead, you close them as a client, and then they go into the client list.
What would be Ryan's top three recommended niches to focus on in 26?
I have made great money in brick, concrete, and asphalt.
Brick, as in like masonry type stuff,
Yeah.
but masonry, concrete, and asphalt. Asphalt, interesting. It's like people that need like little strips paved, or do you get a lot of city jobs out of that? Like the
You get
city calling you.
everything. You get like most of my clients get one parking lot that pays for the full year of service.
That's crazy.
If I
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. That's cool. So masonry slash brick, concrete, and asphalt.
whatever the world's made of, man. You look around the world, what's it made of? Those are good niches.
Corey says I'd be lost without Cindy. He says, but there's so much value in building rapport during the live transfers, but I hear you guys. Thanks. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I totally agree. Like when you're doing those live transfers, there is a lot of like soft skills that I think help. However, you think it's sufficient, obviously, that, I mean, you just keep training them and they get better at it.
Oh yeah, she was really nervous at first, but my setter closed her first. Like the first business owner she hooked, she brought him to a closing call. I closed him. He's been a client for a year and a half. He's probably my best client.
Right.
And so I just like trained her on it. She was really nervous, but I role played with her as the lead that's calling and as the prospect. And we did hours of role play and she got really comfortable. And then she went and did it live. And I haven't live transferred a lead in a year and a half until she went on maternity leave.
And as a bonus, if those calls were recorded, those training sessions, then if he ever has to replace her, he doesn't even have to really do that, or probably a lot less. So just
Right.
record everything. Okay, Ray says, if I have tracking numbers from CallRail, can I transfer them over to Rank and Run Engine?
We don't have porting available yet. So you'd have to keep your numbers there, but you could still assign them in the platform as
Yeah,
we're tagged to the website. So
that's how I am, by the way, Ray, is my stuff still in CallRail because that capability is not here yet. I've been giving Ryan like a million things to update. He's added Canada. Is Australia? Did I see that's live or it's coming soon?
yeah, Canada, Australia, and we're doing the UK next.
Oh, there we go. Callum is from the UK, so that's great to hear. But yeah, so Ray, you don't again, and by the way, guys, you don't have to use whatever you want, but this is it's just all in one. It makes it easy. You just have two tabs open instead of 17 different tabs. So Callum says to Ryan and Nick, are you guys using Google Ads or Facebook Ads or a hybrid model in which Google Ads pulls in the highest intent quality leads while Facebook Ads fills in the gaps and cranks out more leads?
Yeah, I've done both. Both of them are great. It just depends on making sure their due diligence is good. But yeah, I've used both Facebook leads and
What is your primary go-to? Mine's right now for the last however many deals has been Facebook ads, to be honest.
really.
Yeah.
I should lean into that a little bit more. They're both great. I mean, there's just so much wide open room in both of them, but
Yeah.
we lean mostly into Google Ads.
That's great to hear because just for everyone that's watching this is you can still get and then yeah, I mean I think it's niche dependent too. I think some niches do better with Facebook ads versus Google ads, and I've seen some really good success. The quality of lead is always going to be higher with Google though. Like there's no hands down. Okay, we have three more questions. No, we're done. Kyle Smith says, "What if you use a different call tracking platform besides Callro or Twilio? Can you do an integration or import that info, or do you need to port numbers into Rare?"
You would be able to see the actual tracking results, like the call log in Rare. You would just use that for your call log, but you can pull all the numbers into Rare and assign them to your website without having to buy the number or select a number for your account in Rare. So lots of users do that.
Ashley says, "Do you pull the Facebook page on the screencast if you use Facebook ads?" You can, doesn't matter. I mean, you don't have to hide it, but if they ask, you can tell them. And then Ray says, "Nick, can you use the feature automatic text to business owner when they miss a call that they received a call from your website with your numbers still being on call rail?" I don't know if we have. I don't think does call rail have that capability.
I don't know. I never used CallRail.
Yeah.
That capability is the moneymaker for because that exact use case is what happens is they're on the phone with someone else, the call comes in, they don't get it, and then the text message comes in, they have a missed lead, they call them back and they make more money. And if they're making more money, I'm making more money.
What I would recommend is keep your numbers on CallRail for now, obviously, and then if you decide to use Rank Engine, just start adding get your numbers, your new ones going forward there, and start tapping into that capability
Yeah.
because it really is going to save you a lot of clients and a lot of freaking. I mean, nothing's worse than replacing a client. It feels like you're just like filling it. You're putting sand in a hole and it's just going down. So it's so much easier to keep a client than it is to replace it, and it's even better when you can grow a client rather than have to replace it. So
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay, time's up. Appreciate you guys being on. Ryan, I could ask you 1,000 more questions, but we're gonna leave it there. Guys, go get it. We still got time to do deals. Ryan, are you gonna take December off?
Every year I tell myself I am, and I never do. I just love it. I love the game, baby. I'll take some time off for sure. But I like building stuff. I get antsy if I'm not. Let me say this. Digital landlords is the place to be. If you're in this course, I've learned more from here and made tons of friends in here that I've learned from as well. That you have every opportunity to build something really cool from Nick's trainings and from the community here, which is a huge resource for you. So just want to say thanks to Nick because I joining Digital Landlord is one of the best things I've done in my career.
Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate
Yeah, I'm
that.
not blowing smoke. He didn't pay me to say that.
Hey, there would be no reason to pay because everyone in here is already paid.
Yeah,
But I
he didn't pay
appreciate
me
that,
for
dude.
that. So,
All right, guys. Thanks for being on, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Ryan.
see ya.